Voltron Season 3, Episode 5, The Journey. Now this episode is where we finally get to see Shiro officially come back, and it was definitely a good episode. Very surprising, because I did not expect the episode to start with him waking up and being in another Galra ship. I didn't know, really what to expect with that, and I was like, oh, that's where he disappeared to. I just thought he'd be somewhere different. And so he starts off on this ship, very reminiscent of, the flashbacks that they gave him in the very first season, where he's like thinking back to all these crazy things. It was very reminiscent of that. Like, he even kind of walks past himself, and I'm admittedly a little curious. Is like, was that him dreaming, or did he actually walk past a clone of himself? Like, is this really Shiro? Because that was honestly one of the questions I had. Because they're like, oh, initiate this protocol or whatever they called it, and it seemed like ultimately Shiro made his escape. They even reference it in the episode when he comes across the two guys after they save his life. They're like, oh, you think you escaped this ship? But at the same time, he actually has done it before. So it's that weird mystery where I'm like, did he actually see himself? Was he freaking out? But, just a weird out-of-body experience? Or did they actually clone him or something crazy like that? And I was just wondering, because I'm like, there's so many ways you can look at it, because he's been on that ship for, who knows how long. We don't really know the exact time span between this season and the last. We just know it had been a while. Like in the first episode, you can kind of tell it's been a little while. And so it's like, all right, well, they've done something to him. They have this whole mission planned. And it's like, okay, well, he escaped, but he's also done that before. That's how the series, the whole thing kicks off, is that he escapes. So it's like, I don't know. Maybe that was the whole point, is that it seems logical that he could do it a second time with, even more skill. So it's just like, I don't know. Maybe he actually escaped. Maybe this is all still a part of the plan. But it was just something that was in my mind where I'm like, I'm not 100% sure that he truly escaped. Like, I gotta be honest, I'm not 100% sure I believe he actually escaped. It's just like, I want to think he did, but they put some stuff in there, and like I said, they even reference it, like, you really think you escaped a Galra ship. And then it's just like, but he did it before, but I don't know, they had some set plan, and they never really chased him down. Admittedly, they never did anything. Like, he went straight to the planet that they were, like, right next to, and they never seemed to search for him, or, just track the ship that he was on. It's not like he destroyed the tracker, or if they even have trackers, we don't know. But it was like, they didn't seem to really follow him, or anything like that. And I think it was a bit more than, oh, let's send him down to this ice planet with, there are two rebels on that base, and that was really it. So, I don't know. It's one of the things where I think back on him, just like, did he really see himself because he was cloned, or was that really just a crazy dream sequence moment? So, a lot of questions in my head as far as what's truly going on with Shiro. It seems like it's really him. I have watched the next episode, so it's like, it seems like it's him. We'll see. We'll see what happens in the finale, how things end up playing out, or, if that's even a part of it. I don't know. It could just be him and there's nothing to this, but it was just something that I noticed where I was like, that's a little tricky, because you can look at it from both ways, and there's definitely things that make sense. So it's just like, I don't know. We don't know what technology they truly have as far as cloning or any of this other crazy stuff, so we just kind of have to wait and see. But definitely a good episode. He escapes to this planet, crash lands, going through, it's super cold. He was doing his, the Empire Strikes Back deal where he's walking through the cold, and he comes across this water, and it was really funny. He went down, he finds this water, he starts drinking the water, and the first thing I thought was, I'd be looking around. Like, if I was on a strange planet and I went to the water, the first thing I would start doing is looking around my surroundings, because if there's water, then whatever lives on the planet needs water. And that's exactly what ended up happening. He's just drinking the water, and he looks up, and there's this little thing, and then this giant creature comes out, and I'm like, yep, that's exactly what I was looking for, because that's, that's a real thing. Like, creatures go to water, and you better hope you're the best predator there. And he was not. He fought this creature. It was kind of cool. I thought it was cool that he actually went up against it, like he's using his hand and everything to try to break through it, which is very cool that he couldn't break through it, because I think that's like the first time they've actually shown that he couldn't cut through something, because he like cuts through the robots like it's nothing, but he couldn't get through this creature's like outer shell. Then it grabs him with its tendrils and slams him on the ground. It's about to kill him, and that's when the two rebels show up, shoot it up a little, and then it just scurries off. So they talk with him. They assume that he's a spy. he, talks about Voltron, and then they end up getting a message about Voltron. It's like, okay, maybe this dude's telling the truth. But by that point, he's already he's already broken free, takes out both the guys, but they have a super badass moment when the guys are arguing, and he throws the first gun, which I was like, what in the world is he doing? He just threw away his weapon, knocks the first dude out, and he's just walking, and the second guy is super scared, and by the time he finally decides to pull the trigger, Shiro's on him, and he just he puts his hand straight on the gun, because I wasn't sure if he could do that or not, and he just puts it straight on the gun as he shoots, and I was like, that was super sweet. Like, he just blasted his hand and nothing even happened. I was like, that was just super cool. So I love that sequence. I was like, it was crazy at first because he, like I said, threw his only weapon, his only projectile weapon, but it was just sweet. And like, he just, boom, he stops and just takes the gun out of his hand. And it's like, look, I told you before, not an enemy. I am actually on your side trying to take out the Galra. So they end up giving him a ship. They realize that he's actually telling the truth. Takes off to get on the ship. He's like, they have an actually pretty cool plan where it's like he goes towards the ship. It's just small enough to where people won't be alerted. The automatic sensors will just destroy it. He hops off at the right time. Now he's counted as debris. Flies in into where the guns are retracting at, and then he ends up stealing the ship. Unfortunately, just as he's about to take off in this ship, everyone's like, Voltron's too far. Let's give up. Like, it was crazy to me where it's like they're trying to take off Voltron. It's like, he's too far away. So he's like, well, it's now or never. So he shoots up a couple of ships, takes off. He tries to catch up with Voltron, but it's just too slow. And all I could think was, I guess if he shot at it, they would have just turned around and blasted him and destroyed him like it was nothing. He would have died. So it's just like, that's so crazy. And then, of course, he's going for, I think it was like 4 or 5 days with no food or water. And it was just nuts. I was like, wow. I didn't think he was going to die or anything. But I was like, wow, that's very interesting that he just kept going in that direction. Like, this is all I can do. I got to try to find them. And he almost dies. And admittedly, I was kind of surprised that they found him at the end. I thought he was going to be picked up by like another like a new species or something that would be introduced into the show, and then he would be like the rebellion leader for them, and then that would, maybe in the next season in October, would lead to him finally meeting up with the team. But ultimately, the Black Lion does recognize that he's there, and then they end up going to pick him up by the end. So I thought that was actually kind of cool, because I was like, oh, I really thought he was going to get picked up by someone else, and they would be like, oh, he was that close, and even in that last moment when he's about to die, someone else came along to help him, but he's still, so detached from his friends and he basically, his family right now. So it was still pretty cool. Actually, I like it better that he was with them, because I just thought it was cool. It's like, oh, sweet. I thought he was gonna still be separated, but they do get him at the end, and it was pretty awesome. So I was like, good. He's back with the team. We'll see what happens next. As far as him, being a part of the team, and like I said, I've technically seen the next episode, but I like the way that they kind of play around with the idea of him not being back in the fold. That was like the first thing I thought. I was like, I know they're going to find Shiro at some point. What's going to happen? So, excited for that. Or I was excited for it now that I've seen it. But this is definitely a cool episode. And it was like, here's his journey. Like I said, they leave that mystery up there in the beginning. And at first, admittedly, when I was watching the episode, I didn't even think about it. It was kind of like an afterwards sort of thing when I was, like way after I saw the episode. And it was like, maybe he didn't actually escape. Like I said, they had the idea of the plan, and then there was never any, like, fallout from him escaping. They never chased him down. There was nothing. And then, like, the more I thought about that, the more I was like, what is really going on? So I don't know what the case is, but I don't know. We'll have to see what happens, but for now, I would love to know what you guys thought about this episode, so please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts about it, your least favorite parts about it. And I definitely want to know if you guys do think that something's going on, if this is a clone of Shiro. Who knows, it could maybe a crazy robot version of Shiro. That could totally be something. I wouldn't be surprised if it was like they made a robot that thought it was human. I've seen that in a lot of shows, and it's always actually pretty cool to me, where it's like, oh crap, I'm a robot. Now what do I do? So I don't know. Maybe he saw himself because he was cloned. That was the real Shiro on the table still, and this was like the robot version. And he wasn't just like losing his mind. He actually saw himself. So we'll see what happens. But I don't know. It's hard to say. It makes sense. It would just be a great story, and it would also be kind of depressing. It's like, oh, that whole time we were rooting for like what ultimately ended up being a robot. I don't think it would be, mostly because of like the food thing. But they got spaceships. I'm pretty sure they could just, if they wrote in, we can program him to think he's having a kid. I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. They got spaceships. So it wouldn't be that crazy for this robot to think that it's dying, and they program that in there. But at the same time, the lion also connected to him. So, I don't know. Maybe, and that's another thing. They could totally write it in there where it ends up being like a clone, like an actual clone of him, and because it thinks it's him, the lion can't differentiate because like it's it's that person that was worthy of me, and it's thinking about me, and poof, that connection is there because it basically has a cloned version of his brain, so it's one and the same to the lion maybe. But I don't know. I think it would be pretty cool if it wasn't him, and then that would just expand the story. Like, holy crap, it was never really him. But I don't know. With the way they ended it, I would think it was him. But like I said, if they wrote in the clone thing, wouldn't even be that surprised. But we'd love to know your theories. Is it really Shiro? Is it a clone Shiro? I really don't think it's a robot. I think it would have to be a clone because, like I said, the whole connection to the lion, I think would not be there. If it was just a robot that thought it was Shiro, I think it would have to be a bit more physical than that. But maybe not. I really don't know. But we'd love to know your theories on what's going on with Shiro, whatever this weird plan is that they have for him that allowed him to escape, if they allowed him to. And of course, I want to know what you guys thought about this episode in general, so please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.